Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home.
Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Debrief Podcast. I said "the," didn't I? The Debrief Podcast, brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. I'm not used to this, and I didn't have a New Year's resolution to get it right like other
6
people.
seconds into it, and we've already messed this up.
That's right. It is the dynamic duo today, as you can tell. No Amy, no Kathleen. You get Scott and I, somewhat unfiltered. I might still need to use the fairy horn if we get too out of control because, well, there might be little ears listening, but no one to moderate us. This could be dangerous, buddy.
Could be fun. You
Yeah,
say
I bet it's gonna
dangerous,
be a
I
lot
say
of
fun.
Yeah, you know what I always say, safety third.
Absolutely.
Scott and I are somehow apparently have the same weather patterns or something. I'm all the way up to 39 here, and he said he has dropped all the way down. It hasn't even hit 70 today, and I have a single tear rolling down my cheek for him.
I have long sleeves on. That's not right in Florida.
The fact that you have sleeves on at all, number one, let's just start there. The fact that you have sleeves on, but long sleeves, this is like 2 steps.
It's like this sweatshirt stuff is not, I don't know. I'm just not made for this, but no, like I said, it's been cold for like the last week, but it's been brutal down here in Florida. I mean, we've had days of like teens, killed everything.
I know
I was going to say, I know you were here, but it's just like, man, you get a couple days of that and it's crazy. Like it reminds me of being back in Ohio and.
Well, almost though. What temperature did you say your mom told you it was?
-6.
Yeah, -6.
And she just said it like it was another day. Like, my mom's like in her 70s and it just doesn't bother her.
No, it still bothers us. We're used to not complaining about it because it's not going to change anything.
You're not going to do anything about it. It's going to be that way in Ohio probably until at least May. There's always like a good snow in April. And it was always like that in Ohio. Like you thought spring was coming and then it was just going to be, no,
because it's false spring. It's not real spring. It's false spring.
Every year
you get mud season and then you go directly into summer.
Yeah. I don't miss that. But yeah, it was crazy cold down here. Killed all the grass, killed all of our landscaping. Everybody everywhere is frantically trying to figure out what they're going to do with their landscaping. But
as long as the topiaries and flowers are ready for me in May for flower and garden, I'll be happy.
Is it May? Is that when they do that?
I think they start in April, but I'll be there in May. It'll still be going. I'd have to look at the dates.
Could you imagine? I mean, I know that would be highly unlikely to get a cold spell that cold when those flowers and topiary.
It better not. I promised my wife and kids after the last trip that the next time we come back, it will be hot because it was decidedly not hot last week. So it had better not be cold.
I was thinking about you guys and I thought, man, that's got to be brutal.
It was something. Well, did you listen to last week's episode? I mean, it shut down. The wind shut down the boats. The cold broke all the monorails. Every shower at every pool blew pipes. There were icicles hanging off the waterfall at the Floridian. You saw the pictures of Luke next to the fountain. It was sick.
When you sent me those pictures, I was showing everybody. Like, this has to be like a once in a blue moon, once in a lifetime thing that you're going to see.
Well, they saw it.
The fountains are frozen. That's crazy.
I really think I'm going to take that picture and I'm going to turn just the fountain into like a cartoon caricature. Like we survived the record-setting cold snap on hoodies or something.
Yeah, that was nuts. We were there like for Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, I texted you from the airport and said to you, my vowels are trouble today for me for some reason. I texted you from the airport and it's like, hey, am I wearing shorts or pants? Because I just got off the plane. You're like, no, dude, you want to put on shorts. And it was hot. And when Em and the kids got there, we were sitting by the pool and it was hot. And then it wasn't at all.
They brought it with them.
They clearly brought it with them. We'll just blame Emily.
We can blame the women because clearly there's no women today to argue with us.
Exactly.
I'm good with that.
So, following a couple of things I heard while I was away and combining it with some of the other things we have heard over various trips, Scott and I, without adult supervision, have decided that we are going to have a real quick episode on some of the craziest things we have ever heard stated at Disney World, from outrageous parents going off on their kids, spouses going off on each other, and some of the worst advice I have ever heard in my life. I figure we've definitely got enough to cover a half hour. What do you think?
Oh, for sure.
See, you're lucky. You get to be there all the time. So
I was going to say,
much more exposure.
I guess you could call it the benefit of being there, but when you have to hear some things like this, it's not really a benefit because it's
so
all I
are
can
you one
do.
of those guys that tries to correct them? Or are you like me, where either A, you just let it pass by, or B, you look on and laugh thinking to yourself, wow, that's going to suck for them in a few hours?
I am not allowed to. Kathleen would say, if Kathleen was here, she would immediately jump in and she would say that she immediately looks at me and gives me the death stare to not respond back. Because it just is, you hear it and it kind of builds up and you know where they're going with it. And it's all you can do to just keep your mouth shut. But no, I rarely will say something. I don't like to correct people, but it's funny. I mean, I get it. I think I read an article the other day. It said that closer to 75% of people in the parks on any given day are from out of state.
I believe that because I've read that over 80% of the visitors to the parks on a daily basis are day guests. So
Yes.
that makes perfect sense.
So you're going to get a lot of people who, they don't visit as often as a local, and they might not know, even though they think they know.
They know that they know. They don't think they know. They know that they know.
In their world, which is a magical world in itself, they know what they think they know. But just to hear it, I'm rubbing my head right now because I can just hear, the things that I've dealt with before. Like, it's just crazy. But
all right, well, hit me with one. What do you got?
Well, there's general ones, and then there are more specific ones that I have actually heard before. And, the ones, and I'm sure there's been a lot of, I think that was what you had just said to us recently. There's a lot of the transportation issues that I hear that, it's statements that come out of everybody's mouth that are just completely not true. And I've heard them all. I mean, I've heard that, well, we can just take the monorail over to Animal Kingdom, or, we could take the Skyliner over to wherever. Like, it's no big deal. We don't have to rush. We can take that Skyliner. It's going to take us right into
dinner's in 5
Animal
minutes. We'll be perfectly fine taking the Skyliner from Hollywood Studios to Animal Kingdom. Just roll with it.
And it's not even the fact that they say it. It's the fact that they just say it with so much confidence. If you notice, like, there's always it could be a family, it could be a group, but there's a group leader.
Always.
There is somebody who has clearly done research, or they've been to Disney World once, so they've become an expert, and they are the outspoken leader of the group.
And can I just say on a side note, that's always the person that wants to argue with you when you are having a conversation and they step in to tell you you're wrong. It's always that person who is the quote unquote Disney expert who has been twice since 1987, who wants to just absolutely destroy your argument. It's the same person. It's always that group leader in a matching t-shirt, by the way.
It never fails, but it's entertainment. But that has to be one of the top ones that I've heard, is just the transportation issues, whether it's monorail to the most ridiculous place like Old Key West or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you had texted me about
so
when
I
you were
had
there?
one the other day. Yeah, well, I had two actually on the last trip that were very transportation centric. And one of them, I was feeling rather generous that night, so I helped the lady out. She was clearly having a rough day. She had hit the TTC for the second time on the Epcot monorail loop. So that tells you at the very least, she either started there, went to Epcot and came back, or I don't know how many times she went through Epcot. And she was very confused because it had gone to this place twice and it had not yet gone to Magic Kingdom, and she couldn't figure out why that was. So I took pity on her. I explained that there are 3 different loops and she had to get off and kind of directed her along her way. but she was just sitting there mystified. Like, how could we be here twice and we still haven't gotten to the Magic Kingdom?
That's a long, not long, but
it's like 12 minutes a ride. Like you were spending some time there.
Right. I mean, I'm glad you were nice, but that's actually the first time I've heard that one before. It's usually
lost.
It's usually a resort that people thinking that the monorail magically connects you over to Fort Wilderness or something like that. But yeah, that's a big one. There's general ones. I jotted some of these down because I knew I have so many stories with Kathleen. What are some of the one that'll probably irk me more than anything when we're in Epcot? Don't tell me to look at the golf ball.
My kids do that to me on purpose just to see my head snap around because they know it's going to get a reaction from me. And I say the same thing all the time. You are not beginners. Do not act like beginners.
Don't do it, because that's a good way to get me to immediately walk out of Epcot. But that's always a classic one for me. Like you hear like the first timers or, it just never fails. We'll meet you back at the golf ball or people don't realize it's an actual ride. I mean,
no, they're completely mystified that there's actually something going on in there.
People have no idea what actually is happening there. But
speaking of the wrong names for things, have you ever heard Joe Rogan on his podcast just going off mystified, completely blown away after his trip to Disney for going on Flights of Passion?
I have not heard that. I've listened to Joe Rogan before, but I've never heard that before.
Like, it was so good, he didn't get the name right.
I've heard people call Test Track Fast Track.
Yes. Yep. I've
many
heard
times. That's always a good one. Or the space mission.
Okay.
Instead of mission. Yeah, I've heard that one before. I mean, they're common mistakes. I get it. Like I said, not everybody, has the ability to get there all the time. But
so when Kathleen hears this, does she grab you by the ear and just drag you away before you pop?
She sees my face and she starts laughing, but she will kindly remind me, just to be nice and not say anything, because I so badly just want to turn around and be like, no, just
wrong, wrong.
Yeah. The one that I heard one time was, that's got to be common with people. They said that as soon as they get into Universal, they're going to head on over to Rise of the Resistance.
Makes sense to me.
I guess. I mean, they both have studios in the name, but it just drives me nuts. A lot of people confuse Universal with Hollywood Studios, and people still feel like Universal was part of Disney.
It's kind of like, there's an actual desk in Austria for people who have mistakenly booked a trip there instead of Australia. There actually exists a desk in the airport for that.
That's exactly what needs to happen at Disney World. Where's Hogwarts at? I hear people saying that all the time. And
I have yet to hear the classic, we're just going to take the monorail over to Diagon Alley or Universal. People have said they've heard it. I've never heard that one, and I would love to just once hear that.
That one is so bad that I've actually become, that's my thing. Like, I will actually try to embarrass Kathleen with that when I walk into someplace.
Just shout it out rather loudly and proudly.
It could be that. Usually it's Hogwarts. It's, which way is Hogwarts or which way, is Harry Potter land. I always call it Harry Potter land. But it's so bad because I will literally be looking at the Grand Floridian and there's a group of people around us and I'll say, so that one over there is called Old Key West?
She just ducks her head and scampers away not to be associated with you.
This is why she's in Alaska right now.
Yeah, she had to get as far away from you as possible. You talk about transportation. So I told you we were on our way to the hotel when Em and the kids landed. I went to the airport, met them, and I always get a car service. And inevitably, the car service always tries to give you Disney tips when you're on your way there. Like they always have. Like, you hear about it from the bus drivers, the advice that gets given or the facts that given by the ferry drivers or the launch drivers. Well, the car service just feels like because you're spending extra, they need to give you extra value for your money. So they really try to just pump you up with all that Disney knowledge. And when I told him where we were staying, he said that he probably wouldn't stay at Grand Floridian if he wanted to go. And this is a guy that lives locally, by the way. He'd stay at Boardwalk because from Boardwalk, you can take the Skyliner right into Epcot.
Okay. I had to stop and think about that for a second.
Right. That one locked up your breath. Like maybe if you're standing on top of the building and jump really high to grab onto the bottom of one of the cars, but I'm not sure that Boardwalk to Epcot is a Skyliner ride.
It's amazing how many experts are out there, and it's crazy because I'm by all means I am no expert. I go enough that I can really find my way around, and I know what's what. But I'm still no expert at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time I remember my first trip to Disney World, and I did no research at all, and I was totally one of these people. So I mean, no shame towards anybody at all, but it's just hilarious now. Years later, I mean, I've been going to the parks now for 10, 15 years, but just to hear some of these guys and hear how confidently they can say something, and everybody just in the group is shaking their head like, okay, let's go.
They used to be easy to pick out of the crowd because they were always the people with the gray magic bands. You always knew the ones who did absolutely zero planning because they had the gray magic bands on, because no one picked that on purpose. That was always the I forgot to pick, so a box of gray ones arrived.
They're so convincing, though. I mean, it's like, after a while, I start shaking my head, too. And then I realize, oh, my God, if you follow what she just said, you're going to end up at SeaWorld. I love it, though.
You talk about zero planning. I always say one of my favorites. So during COVID, you remember there were no nighttime shows. They would shut down everything. And there's a woman at about, 4:30 in the afternoon. And she is sitting out in front of the plaza on Main Street, and they've got a blanket, and she's directing her kids around. You're going to sit here, and you're going to sit here. And then at 5:30, we're going to go get this food. And then at 6:30, so-and-so is going to get that ice cream. But if we put it right here, right now, by the time the fireworks and the parade happen, we'll have the perfect spot. And I just kept walking and laughing because I'm that kind of evil, terrible, horrible, morally bereft person that I just left them to sit there for 4 hours knowing damn well there was no parade that night. Like, oh, there goes their entire day. And I walked myself right down Main Street and back to my resort.
Yeah, it's nuts. There was one, what was it the other day that I was at? This has nothing to do with the park, so I don't know what made me think of this, but you've stood in line at Gideon's, haven't you?
I have seen the line at Gideon's and chosen not to stand in it, but I do know what you're referring to, yes.
All right, so just this, I think it was this past Sunday, I was in line. There's a cookie. There's one cookie that I really enjoy at Gideon's, and it is a chocolate-covered strawberry cookie. So I will wait for this cookie. And one of my pet peeves, I cannot stand waiting in that line, is literally everybody, because I work in nutrition, everybody that walks past that line and sees that line all of a sudden becomes an expert and a dietitian. And everybody wants to say, the common one is there's got to be at least 8,000 calories in one of those cookies. And then the other one is, who would wait in line for a cookie? I hear that constantly. And to some point, I can agree with what they're saying. But I also want to turn to the guy and say, literally all of these people, every single day,
here,
every day, would wait in line for these cookies because it happens every day. So bad to the point where they actually had to open up another. Did you hear about the little?
The secondary. Well, they also, when a cookie shop needs to establish a virtual queue, there's probably a bit of a demand there.
But I waited in line. My wait was probably a good 30 minutes, which is pushing it for me. Like, I don't want to wait too long. But I must have heard that same line 6 times from passerbyers.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't think the people in line can hear them, but everybody just chuckles, when they say stuff like that. But that's just one of the things. Like, I guess that's not really like a dumb thing to say, but it's more of a pet peeve of mine.
Like a read the room kind of moment. Like, you just walked by 75 people that are waiting in line, so that answers your question.
The biggest one that you hear when you're there, the biggest thing that kills me all the time is I hear somebody say, I can't believe how busy it is today. Like, that's the biggest thing that I hear all the time. I can't believe how busy it is today.
That's every day.
I just want to turn and be like, bub, this is every single day. And it kills me, because they think that they came on that one day that was just extra busy.
Well, it's just God hates them. That's what it is.
It's either
yesterday was beautiful. Tomorrow's going to be amazing. But today, because you're here, it's busy.
It's either that or this has to be a record, like high heat. Like, they're talking about the temperature. It's mid-July, and they're talking about, like, this has to be like the hottest day ever. And I just, as I turn around dripping with sweat, I'm like, nah, dude, it's every
This is
single
Florida
day. Yes.
Yep.
It's except for obviously today, but every day in July, it is like that. But
I've been there in August. I know exactly what you're referring to, and I have no desire to ever go back there again in August.
it's hotter than the sun. I mean, it literally, like, you walk from, I mean, we park and we walk into the park and I am dripping with sweat by the time I get in.
Ugh.
But
So I'm going to read on the air here the text that I sent to you guys because this is temperature specific as well. So to give this a little bit of background, we are sitting at the table at Trattoria, and next to us looks like what is probably a honeymooning couple. Like, they don't have the buttons on, but you can tell they're down there for their honeymoon. And the guy is clearly the expert, and she is just following along, listening to his every word because, newlywed marital bliss. Of course, he can't be wrong. So my text to you guys says, now the couple next to me is trying to figure out why Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Kali River Rapids have such low wait time today. They're trying to decide what park to go to tonight based on which one of those they can get on. This was the day that the fountains froze at Grand Floridian. It was 23 degrees. He is such an expert that he is basing his park plans for that night on the 2 wet water rides. I wrote, if there's a God, he will send them on one of those. They're also arguing about whether or not Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness are on the monorail loop.
oh, there you go.
In his defense, he did not think they were. So I think he was probably the expert in this one, but he wasn't really certain. So they were pulling up the map. And then just to close up, I spent the whole dinner, by the way, listening to these people. They were fascinating. My family had to, at least on a half a dozen occasions, be like, Dad, are you listening? Because I was not. I was completely focused on the table next to me.
Dinner and a show.
Right. And by the way, he is quite confident. Now, quite is all in shouty caps, that Coronado is, in fact, the most expensive deluxe hotel on property. And he was arguing this point adamantly. I wanted to say, sir, you are not paying for my theme park view at Grand Floridian. I can assure you, for as nice as Coronado is, it's not there.
I mean, at least it was Coronado.
It was Coronado. We wasn't referring to all-star music, but
That could have been a lot worse. But yeah, that's hilarious. Like that's the kind of stuff. I mean, when you go and you just happen to hear conversations, that is the kind of stuff that just keeps you entertained. But like I said, we've all been there before. First time. I don't know that I've ever said that though.
that one's a bit of a stretch.
That one is a little bit of a stretch, but
They were fascinating. It was like dinner theater. I was loving every minute of this, just sitting there, eating my dinner, listening to this conversation.
one of the ones that I had thought of before, this is such a long time ago, but I can remember, I think I told you this before. I might have mentioned it on the podcast. We walked by a mom and her child, and she had pulled the child over. You hear kids crying all the time, but this was like an older child, pulled the kid over and, raised her voice to where everybody in the entire park could hear her. And she said something to the effect of, I hear you telling me you're having a good time, but I really need you to just start showing it. And clearly the kid was not having a good time.
Clearly.
The kid was on his iPhone or iPad or whatever it was at the time, and you could tell he didn't want to be there.
He had
But
enough.
Yeah, I mean, and you know how that is. Like, for kids, you're up at the crack of dawn and you're out all day in 80-degree weather. Kids have a limit, and this kid had clearly reached his limit, but mom was the drill sergeant.
Mom had paid for far more than that limit. She needed a much higher limit.
And I don't think I had laughed that hard walking by hearing a conversation. I really don't think I had laughed that hard in a very long time. Because it's funny, but it's not funny. But to hear a parent just try to make a kid have fun like that to me, it was hilarious. But
You're going to have fun and you're going to like it.
yeah, like I hear you saying you're having a good time, but I really need you to show it.
So I think I've told the same. We were on a bus midday going back to, it had to be one of the Crescent Lake resorts. I want to say Boardwalk, basically, because I can remember driving down the road and there was just us, myself, the 2 kids, and there was an older couple on the bus with us. And one of the women turned and she said, your kids are so well behaved, because they were just being my kids, sitting down. She said, we've got to tell you, we're here all the time and we see so many kids just having meltdowns. So it's really nice to see a couple of kids just sitting back and enjoying it. Now, we're DVC members. They go all the time. They're used to it, but we also we have our built-in rest days. We rest in the middle of the afternoon, especially when it's hot. I turned to her and I said, ma'am, I can make my kids cry at home for free. It's way too expensive to make them cry here at Disney. And she just started laughing.
How true.
The spousal meltdowns are great as well. Emily's favorite story ever. We are going down to the bus stop. And I don't remember if we were in Disney World or Disneyland because my sister-in-law was involved here somewhere. But there's this family, husband and wife, and they're just carping at each other the whole time. I mean, you can tell that they have both just reached their limit.
See it all the time.
With the kids, with each other, with the heat, with Disney, with oxygen. It didn't matter. They were going at it. And, she clearly was the keeper of the schedule because she's looking at the bus and she's hustling everyone along. And he's saying to her, I need my sunglasses. I forgot my sunglasses in the room. And she's yelling at him about, the bus is going to be here in 6 minutes and we're already running behind and we've got such and such fast passes. And he just finally whips around and at the top of his lungs screams, you don't know my eyes, woman, and stalks back to the room. And to this day, we can be in the middle of a conversation somewhere and my wife will snap around and she'll be like, you don't know my eyes, woman. And that just ends the conversation right there.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, you see that a lot. But I mean, it's to be expected because, again, it's a long day. It's hot. Chances are good you're miserable.
Right.
At
And
some
they
point.
sell the dream, right? So you watch the commercial, the monorail goes through your bathroom. As you exit your room, Cinderella and 6 stormtroopers are coming down the stairs to meet you. There's pixie dust flying everywhere. The kid is all smiles under a blue sky. Dumbo wearing his perfectly perched mouse ears on his head. They don't tell you about the long lines, the I need water, my feet hurt, the swamp that is riding somewhere in your boxer briefs 15 minutes into the day. They don't show that stuff. So people have spent all this money and they've built up this perfect, amazing, impossible dream in their mind. And, someone doesn't know your eyes.
I would pay good money to see like an actual commercial of like
what the real Disney visit looks like.
What to really expect.
I feel like we need to do that in May. We need to get all of our gear and get together in the park and just get the kids to do all the cliches and put that up as the DVC Clubhouse Disney vacation video.
I would pay really good money for that because there's so many things you could do with that. I mean, that.
Well, you could even do like a DVC edition. Like there's the usual stuff. Then there's the crabby kids, really hungry, don't have fresh clothes, been on a plane, sitting in the lobby at 7 p.m. because your room's not ready. Like just the ones that really hit for DVC members.
Yep, that would be good. I could see that. Oh, I don't know. What else is... Oh,
you got any others on your list? I think I've told all my favorite stories, but I'm sure I've got a million others if I think about it.
How many times... Have you ever heard somebody say they were going to wait for the picture when they got off a ride that doesn't have a picture?
No.
Big Thunder.
Oh, I would give them directions to where they can wait for it, but I'm a terrible human being.
Big Thunder, which I can't wait for it to come back. I miss Big Thunder.
Hopefully back by the time we're down there. It looks like Buzz Lightyear is going to be open. Big Thunder's got a good shot at it. My kids desperately miss it. It is top 3 for them.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my top rides, but I can't tell you how many times I hear people get off the ride and they want to know where they're going to get the picture at for that ride. And I mean, to their credit, I could see that ride totally having a picture.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just one of those things that, again, the group experts, they swear up and down that, they're going to get a picture on Big Thunder or any other ride. I've heard a couple different ones before, but.
And it's always the person in the loudest custom Disney t-shirt with the perfectly done makeup and the biggest fancy ears and the giant stroller with all of the accoutrements hanging off of it, the bubble wand and the ears and the popcorn buckets. They're always the people with the most advice.
Yeah, they look like the people that are actually on the commercials.
Yes.
Yep.
And then there's us just wandering through in a pair of Hey Dudes and a backpack. Like, yeah, we got this.
Yep, pretty much. But I don't know. I've heard some crazy things over the years, and I don't know. It just keeps getting better and better every time I go back.
Well, because they keep raising the price, so people just want more and more out of that trip. But I'm in it. Like I probably look forward to that as much as anything else for my vacations. Like, what sort of insanity are we going to hear? What horrible advice? What complete meltdown? I mean, I stalk social media not for Disney tips, but to watch those families that just lose it on each other in World Showcase at 8 o'clock at night when things have gone sideways. It's like a soap opera to me.
Yeah. And again, I'm not shaming anybody because I've been there before for sure. And I've made the mistake of going to Disney and never once, I didn't do any research. I didn't do anything at all. So my first time when I walked in, I had no clue. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea about transportation. If you wanted to tell me that there was deluxe resorts, moderate resorts, I had no clue about anything at all. But I never pretended to know.
No, I suppose like if there's one class of people who don't plan that I empathize with but do not sympathize with, it's the people who are standing in front of like, I don't know, let's call it the Plaza Restaurant or, one of the restaurants on Main Street, maybe the Palace at 5:30 at night, losing their mind because they have 3 kids who are beat down and they're starving and they just cannot for the life of them understand why they can't have a reservation right now. It's like the part of me that has kids is like, oh my God, like that's got to be awful. Like the kids are miserable. You're trying to make the best of this. There's nowhere to feed them. And the part of me that knows I made these, especially a couple of years ago, 180 days ahead of time, I was making dining reservations. Like this information is available online with just a modicum of research. So you probably should have known this ahead of time, but we see that all the time. That's probably the most popular one we see is people that just can't understand why they can't wander into Crystal Palace for a character dinner day of.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that totally. But yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. Like I said, I've been going now for years and I still don't know everything that there is to know. I mean, I've got the basics down, but I still, it's so funny because I still rely on Kathleen. Sometimes I get turned around in Disney Springs.
It's easy to do there. I'm not going to lie.
So, I mean, of all the times that we've been there, I still kind of like, where are we going?
Right. Or you take the left because the paths diverge and you're like, I really should have gone by Boathouse, but instead I took a left by the Marshmallows and now it's a half mile longer to get to the same place and I don't know why.
Right.
I got corrected by my kids the other day. You just end up getting so inundated with information. I said something about dining reservations in like 30 days, and Luke immediately snapped up. He was like, it's 60 days, Dad. And I was like, don't look at me, okay? I remember when it was 180. They're changing the rules way too often. 30's fast pass now, but it wasn't before. It's all a mess.
The good old days of 180 days of planning your dining reservations.
I actually used to like that part, but I'm nuts.
I did too. It was one of my favorite things. I looked forward to it and it changed constantly. I would look every day and change it up. You couldn't find what you were looking for right away. That was part of the fun for me.
I said it was half the fun to me when I actually got there. I felt like some of my fun had been taken away because I was from 180 days out. I was tweaking reservations. I was moving things 10 minutes in that direction, 10 in the other, moving this fast pass. It was fun. It was a game. It was part of the whole vacation experience to try and make it as awesome as possible.
How many days were the fast pass? Was it 60?
Used to be 60, I think, right? And then you had, was it 60 for staying on site and 30 for staying off? I can't remember. That goes back quite a ways, but that was when dining was 180.
Yeah, that to me, it was like you said, half the fun. Like I would just enjoy getting on the app and just looking to see what they had and changing. It would change every day.
Right. I was going to say, and then you just hop on the app in the middle of lunch one day and be like, oh, this one's available. But now you had to start like doing the machinations in your head. Like, okay, if I move this day over to here, then I can get over to there on that day. It was good times.
I didn't wait for lunch. I'd be right in the middle of a meeting and I would
just open it right up. All right, buddy. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think that's all I got, really.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, as always, for listening along. You've all heard it. Apple Podcasts, 5-star review. That'd be great. You can find us at Facebook, DVC Clubhouse, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc., etc. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.
Top of the hour.